Are you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
To the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on Broadway World over here on the Broadway Podcast Network, iHeart, or on Spotify. You know, I moved to Detroit 1 year ago, and I tell people, listen, I don't live in Southfield, and I don't live in Livonia, and I don't live in Royal Oak. I am in 7 Mile and Livernois, y'all, and we are here in the city. And my favorite place to see a show here in the city every single summer. From the second I moved in here, I fell in love with the Aretha, and I heard about this show coming up on Wednesday. If you know anything about jazz, the Count Basie Orchestra is legendary, and then you add BLKBOK to the entire piece here. You have an evening under the stars in Detroit, August 13th. His music is out. He has played for everybody. He has played with everybody. Everybody. And he's going to tell us about his journey, Detroit's own. He's repping the D right in his hat and everything right here. BLKBOK, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I was going to tease you and I was going to say, okay, so before this interview, he's going to play music for me. I need a piano player. Who better than you? Come on, come through. I got no money.
Got you. I still got you. It's all good.
Congratulations. Your music is gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
People need to be streaming and listening to this gorgeous, the newest music to all of the music that is out, the albums, the full pieces of music. How do you describe your sound?
Classical, but the new version. Like taking classical music and then taking everything else that surrounds us, like hip hop and rock and rap and everything, and pouring some of that into it. So
it's amazing because if you love classical music and you're a classical music snob, you have that your music fits. But if you're somebody who likes to throw down bars and is out here trying to, you know, bump to the newest music, your music fits. You created something so unique.
Yeah. It's been a, you know, one of the things that I went through was a period of asking myself, what is my voice? And I hadn't discovered BLKBOK yet. And in all of that, I said, you know what? I have all this classical background. I love, you know, hip hop and R&B, and I've toured with so many, you know, pop artists. How do I combine all this stuff into one thing? And then I just started, and it took 121 consecutive days of writing music, which I never knew I could do. And finally, I came up with my first album, Black Book, after 121 days of experimentation.
And it's not every day that the New York Times says it's an album to watch.
No, that doesn't happen every day.
No, that does not happen every day. And especially, I love piano. It's my favorite instrument in the world. But to a classical pianist, it doesn't happen every day where the New York Times is like, hey, take a listen to this.
No, it doesn't. Such an honor. Such an honor.
So where are you really from? Detroit?
Born and raised on the West Side. Yeah.
On the right around the corner, probably from where I am here on the West Side.
Like you said, 7 Mile, Livernois. I came up at Plymouth and Schaefer, like right, not too far.
You're down the block.
Yeah.
I've been learning the Detroit lingo, BLKBOK.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been learning, like you say, where do you stay? Like where in Jersey I grew up, and I would be like, where do you live? Well, I stay at 7 Mile and Livernois.
7 Mile, Livernois. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, like, okay, I'm finna be at rehearsal in 15 minutes. That's Detroit.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
So when you are growing up here, how did the piano come to you? And then when did you decide to make it like this is your career? Like this is it.
Yeah. Okay. So piano started with my parents when I was maybe 4 years old or something. I started taking lessons, classical lessons, and my teacher lived out in Lathrop Village. So I would commute every weekend. Every Saturday we had piano lessons in Lathrop Village. So it was one of those things that just kind of, my mom knew it was a part of my DNA. I come from a family of musicians. So it was just something that I was naturally drawn to. And then when I decided I wanted it as a career, I'll tell you the real story. I was in middle school at Ann Arbor Trail, and my band teacher would always have me play for the students, which at the time was extremely intimidating. I mean, I'm in middle school playing classical music for middle school kids in Detroit. Like, this wasn't cool. But just so happened, a little girl was like, "Oh, you play the piano?" And I was like, okay, I'm there. I got to do this forever. So yeah, a little bit of the influence came from understanding that I could make a career out of it because people appreciated it.
Yeah, absolutely. And and then the journey and the never-ending love of music you obviously has continued through all these years. You went to college in Florida?
Yeah, for a year and a half. Yep.
And then how did it go from I'm in school in Florida to I'm with Justin Timberlake, I'm playing with Timberland, I'm doing like your career at that point was totally different than classical music. You were a pop baby.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went to to Bethune-Cookman down in Florida, and then I spent a year at Full Sail getting a degree in engineering and recording engineering. And while I was in Orlando, I happened to be in a rehearsal at Epcot Center, and next door in that rehearsal was the band for NSYNC. And me just being me, I just went and knocked on the door. What's up, y'all? I'm from Detroit. I'm Charles, blah, blah, blah. And I stayed in touch with the musical director, Kevin Antunes. And maybe a couple years later, he said, you know what, dude, come by my house. We're going to, mess around with some keyboards, see what's going on. And I ended up playing some stuff for him. And he was like, that's really cool. Do you want to go on tour with Justin Timberlake? And I'm like, where do I sign, bro? So it started off with JT, and then it just kind of, trickled next thing. For about 13 years, it was just pop music on the road with pop artists.
Tour life on the road with pop artists and people. I'm talking about John Mayer, Rihanna, Demi Lovato, Backstreet Boys. You played at Michael Jackson 1 out there in Vegas. Like, you could have made a whole career out of that, made good money.
Yeah.
The check would clear every week, sit on the tour bus and go home.
Yep.
But there was more.
There was more. One of the things I realized was that, you had, like I said, Justin, Rihanna, and John Mayer, and the last one was MJ Immortal. And after Michael, where do you go? So then you have to really ask yourself that question: do I continue? I love this upwards trajectory. So the next thing was myself. Like, what like I said, what does my voice sound like? I know what Rihanna's voice is, and I know what JT's voice is, I know what Mayer's voice is. What is my voice? And like I said, it all started with one experiment, and luckily the experiment worked.
So tell us about it. What was while we're talking, by the way, follow on Instagram. Make sure you follow all the information below on Instagram, and go to the website if you want to see the music, the merch, where to listen to the music, the whole story. Like, everything is all on the website, and the links are all below us. And then Wednesday night, Detroit, show up and show out. Go to thearetha.com. And while we're talking about it, we might as well get this plug in. Thearetha.com. The Count Basie Orchestra is going to be there. Black BLKBOK is going to be there August 13th. The tickets they do a good job of making it so that a whole family can come out. It shows us at 7:30. I don't know, bring your boat, bring your car, show up at the Aretha. That's what goes down there on the water. So what was the experiment, and how did the ball roll where you wrote an entire album?
Yeah. So I was enrolled in a program called the Creatives Workshop, which was run by a marketing guru named Seth Godin. And it was a commitment to do whatever you do creatively for 100 consecutive days. Now, it sounds like this crazy, signing into it is like, who does anything for 100 days straight? So I knew that I was on a bit of a marathon. And again, I had never tried writing classical music. I didn't even think it was classical music at first. I just thought, what is naturally going to come from my soul? And the first piece I wrote is one, it's very popular. It's called Michelle's First Day at the White House. And that was the first piece that was written. And it took me about 12 days to write it. And I just didn't know, honestly, there's this thing about not knowing that I think is very powerful in creativity. Is there's a great power in not knowing what you're doing, so it was just a matter of me continuing the journey, and more than anything, defining and refining the process, and what is my process, and how do I write classical music, because I don't write it like in the traditional sense. Most people are, pencil to staff paper. I'm like a recording artist because I have a recording degree, so I press record and then I play what I play until something feels right. So it was a bunch of, like I said, if you look at my sessions and my songs, for instance, some songs are, say, 3 minutes. But if you go into the session and you zoom out, you'll see like 530 minutes. So it took all of this experimentation to get this thing that makes sense to me, this story. And my thing is always to be able to tell a story with no words. It has to be a story. What is the storyline? What am I talking to? Who am I speaking to? What is the ideal that I'm trying to convey? And how can I best portray that through the piano?
Well, I love when I tell you that song in particular, all of this music, and we're talking that I think is on your first album, which is Black Book is out, and you could stream all of the music wherever, all of the albums, all the singles, everything is out. I listen to it because when you go to Spotify or you go to Tidal or you go to Apple, wherever the top songs come in, and I hit play, and we're listening to it in my house, and I'm like, when I see the title, I automatically think, I see this. I feel you. The imagery comes to your head. The music that you're playing. What is the story? What's the first day of walking in that room, in that building? And all of this is what you're able to convey with just the piano. It's insane.
Yeah.
So how often do you write? Are you always writing? Do you have voice memos? Are you always on the computer? Like, what is the process?
I do have voice memos. Usually writing for me comes in seasons. Like right now, I'm not writing a lot. More than anything, I'm creating my next, the show that you'll see on Wednesday. It was part of that creation and refining that and making sure that that's kind of all locked in. But I'm also, there is also, there's always that bug of, okay, singing a melody into my phone or playing something on the piano. So I could say that I'm always writing, but, sometimes it's like the gas pedal is all the way down. Yeah. Sometimes. And then this is just not one of those seasons where the gas pedal's down. It's kind of like, 25% maybe.
Yeah, but hey, that's 25% of amazing music that you write. I just watched the documentary that Billy Joel has on HBO where he talks about at the end of his career, he decides to write classical music and how hard it is because you feel like you're comparing yourself to the greats of all time. And I'm not talking about greats like Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson. I'm talking about like Beethoven. Yeah. So for you, how do you find the accessibility for you to be in that music? And also how important is it for you to represent Detroit, for you to represent culture and classical music?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I lean into is, I don't compare myself to the greats. Like, I feel like Beethoven spoke for his time. Bach spoke for his time. Chopin spoke for his time. Debussy spoke for his time. And now this is my time. My time is being the kid that grew up on the west side of Detroit. I love hip hop and rap culture. Like, this is my opportunity to tell my story. And the worst thing that I could do is look back on the greats and say, oh, I have to make it like them. No, I have to make it like me. And I think that that's very relevant to art and creativity, is that we're very honest, honest to ourselves and understanding that our contributions can be just as significant as their contributions, as long as we're very honest and we're speaking from our hearts and we're truly talking about the times and the things that are going on around us.
It moves me because in the year that I've been here, I'm the head of the English department at Detroit Lions Academy and near Midtown Detroit. And we have a band, and a lot of them, it's their first experience in band or they take piano lessons. And I always say teaching piano was the hardest job because I had the kids that didn't want to be there hiding under the piano bench, screaming. Like, I don't. And these kids, the language that they come to get, they may not know math, they may not know how to read, they may have had bad experiences in school, but they know music. They know the music they love, and they know that music moves them. Yeah. What the opportunity for people to fall in love with music and learn music, it literally, no corniness aside, it saves people's lives.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And that's one of the things that I really identify with is the power. There's such a, to put it in perspective, we're all airbenders. Like, we're literally taking sound and frequency and resonance to convey ideals. Like, that's like, and where does it come from? It comes from some mystical, magical, majestical force that comes into us and allows us to speak. So it's a very, very, very powerful thing. I mean, it has moved people. It has been there have been songs of revolution. There have been songs that make you cry. There are songs that make you dance. Like, it's such a powerful tool. And to understand that it is a tool, that's the thing, is to understand that this is the power that was given to me is so that I can give it. And I always come from a place of service. Like, everything that I do, every time I put my hands on the piano, it is of service to someone. Someone needs to hear something or experience something that I may say. Or so it's a very, I love this conversation. I love this part about just like the power of music. It's a very strong substance.
Absolutely. And for you, going to the Aretha and performing here in your home city and talk about the Count Basie Orchestra, which has been around for some of the, from Sinatra to everybody, they've played with everybody. And now to put your music on the stage, what is a Black Box show like? What are you going to do up there?
Oh man. Well, first thing I'm going to do is, first song on my set is Michelle's First Day. So I love to start off with that song because it kind of brings, in the same way that the song describes, the doors opening to the White House, her walking into this house that was built by slaves, seeing all the art and the architecture and having the experience of that. And then being a mother and a wife and bringing your family and creating a home in this place. That's what the opening is of a Black Box show. I want to open the doors and let you experience what's going to happen. And almost the way I say, I like to open my chest and let people see what's inside. The beauty, the anger, the pain, the vulnerability, all of the emotions. I want to show you that I am very human and that, these songs are reflections of my humanity. And I think that's the thing that is most important about a Black Box show. And then you'll see stuff that's really cool. Like I have a beat tape called Urban Etudes that's coming out next month. I'm going to play a couple songs from that, which is like me and playing over beats. So it's like up-tempo stuff. I do a cover of Beyonce's Freedom. So that's always a cool thing. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a variety of different things, but all very like connected and very human.
They're going to lose their mind over this over there at the Aretha, everybody. Yeah. You gotta get your tickets. Get your tickets. I love that this Wednesday Jazz Festival, every Wednesday over the summer, that they expose music to the city and the culture of the city, and they keep tickets as affordable as they can down there. So shout out to them, because I know we've taken advantage of it since we've been here. So for you, what is next? Is it more original? If Beyonce calls, are you jumping back on the tour bus, or I'm Black Box now and I'm hitting the road, I'm doing my thing?
Yeah, I don't think I want to work for anyone else. I like working for myself. It's great. I mean, the thing about it is that what's next is next month we're coming out with a Black Box app, which is going to be really cool and incredible. And then there's the release of Urban Etudes, which is a beat tape. There's also a mixtape, which is called Peaceful Piano. That's coming out in a few months. And then a new Black Box album for first of the year.
Oh, so you're busy. Like you're booked.
I'm so busy.
A lot of music that's about to come out. Is it a hard sell for you as an artist, business side? Mm-hmm. Was it hard for you to get management and sell the idea? And a lot of people think instrumental music doesn't sell. People are not interested. Yeah. Kenny G is 1996, and that's not around anymore. Yeah. What is the pit? Like, do you get pushback that you're just an instrumental artist?
It doesn't bother me. None of that, all of that stuff is kind of, one of the things I've come to realize is that I'm not for everybody, and that's fine. I'm okay with not, it's okay. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's not your cup of tea. But for those who do, I'm there to serve those that do appreciate it, who do want this music, who do want to have an experience in classical music, who may not know a lot about it, who want an entrance ramp. That's what I want to always serve as, the entrance ramp for somebody who's like, you know what, maybe I should get into classical music, or maybe I should, let me see what this is all about. Oh, well, this is not hard because he's doing, Beyonce, so I can kind of transition into that. Oh, and I hear this other thing he has called Breathe Slow, Be Present. Oh, that made me really stop and take a moment for myself. That's what I want. So, all the noise is just noise.
Well, I think that you hear more classical music than you think. You hear it in TV shows, you hear it on the radio, you see it in movies. And now next time you have a date night, you're trying to cook some dinner, you're trying to take a nice peaceful ride home from work. This is the music that you need to put on, because it's going to keep you chill, calm. Yeah. There's a time to turn up and be crazy. And
absolutely.
But your social media is fun. You turn up in the malls all across this country. Yeah. What did that idea happen? And is that real? Like, that's really you playing in the middle of these?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy because, one of the things is the whole Hype Me Up thing that's been happening it's really cool. So when I first heard the song by Flippa T, I was like, wow, I love this song. And I just did a cover in just like regular, just sitting at the piano and did a cover. And then I thought, like, wow, like, let's go outside and see how the people's reactions are. And now it's become this whole thing, like this massive social media push. And it's so fun to see people's reactions, especially the ones that don't get it. They're kind of like, huh? They look like, what's going on here? but it's just me getting outside and playing music. It's simple. It's such a simple thing.
It's so fun because you get to show your showmanship because you're
Yeah.
out there playing the piano.
Exactly.
And then people are literally like, it is the most fun thing to watch. It is a blast.
Yeah.
I would totally dab you up and give you love if I saw you out.
Me too. If I saw someone doing that, I'd be like, yeah, I love this. I love this.
What's amazing to me and what I respect and appreciate so much is that you do what 99.9% of the world can't do, and you do it so well, and you do it with so much style and so much flair and so much obvious love that it's infectious to listen to you play and watch you play. And I know Detroit's proud. We all should be proud. The music community should be proud of what you're throwing down and doing here. And I'm sure it means a lot for you to be home and do the show on Wednesday. And I know that we're going to turn out for you all.
Absolutely.
How much influence people that are from here love it here? My husband is from here. He is a Detroiter and wears it proud. What is the influence of Detroit in the music?
Oh man, it's everywhere. It's all up and through the music. Like for me, growing up in Detroit was like studying with all the masters. Like, I went through the Teddy Harris and Marcus Belgrave and George Davidson and like all the Detroit jazz legends and Harold McKinney. They were all my teachers. They were the influence. They were the ones that kept me at Baker's Keyboard Lounge instead of out on the streets acting crazy. It was just what it is. So I look at everything, like everything about me is Detroit, like everything. I mean, everything. Like, and that's one of the things I love about our culture in Detroit is that we ride. Like, we put on for our city for real, like in a way that people that other cities don't, So the music, it just is so reflective in music. I mean, even when I'm on the stage and I'm traveling around the country playing shows, my first words to the audience is "What up, though?" And then they're like, "What?" And then sometimes I have to be like, "Okay, yeah, that's lingo for hello in Detroit." So like I have to explain it to people, but I always want to portray who I am. And I'm so Detroit.
Detroit, right here. He's got his Coney order ready to go. Baker's is down the block. I mean, from my house.
Exactly.
Right there.
Right there.
Right. Next time you're there, drink on me. That's a problem.
Done.
That's a deal.
Done.
I can't wait for y'all to get your tickets and make sure you check out the show on Wednesday. And then if you're not in the Detroit area, but you're listening to us wherever you are, go to Instagram, follow, and make sure you go to the website, follow for more dates, for more music, for more information, all of the stuff. But you can definitely play the music. If you're in love with like great jazz music, or if you like beats, like my students love a beat, you want to hear something done new, modern with the twist to the classics, this is what you got to listen to. So much love. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm an honorary Detroiter now. I spent my year. I don't know if I'm not a Detroiter. I'm not going to call myself. I played taxes in Detroit.
I mean, as long as you got your Coney order, that you're good.
I got my Coney order and I have my favorite gas station. So I think that means
you're in.
I'm getting there. I can't wait to see you out and about. I'm so excited for this. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.